In 2017, Google generated $491,179 a second, putting it into the $100 billion club that year. The figures for last year are not out yet, but they're a lot bigger than that. Why? Because Google has become the primary search engine on the internet. If you're searching for anything on the internet, you'll need Google to find it for you. The question for you to consider is, does Google know who you are and where you can be found? Your website needs to be found, and the only way that happens is based on the rating Google gives you. As some of you know, SEO is an acronym for search engine optimization. And based on those three letters, if you're not doing it right and yours is broken, it's costing you a lot more than $250,000. By show of hands, is there anyone in this room who does not have a website for their business? That's pretty much no one. Okay. Since almost everyone pretty much in business, and certainly in this room, has a website, are your prospects finding it? Without an SEO audit, you'll never really know when they don't, and why, according to Stephan Spencer. For over 20 years, Stephan has been a leader in the field of SEO. His best-selling book, The Art of SEO, is considered the Bible in the SEO world and is used as a college textbook. Stephan founded his SEO company over 15 years ago, and back in 2010 sold it when it was doing over $6 million a year. Since that time, he's been consulting and coaching one-on-one with entrepreneurs, doing podcasts and producing 2 podcast shows, and sharing his wealth of knowledge for those who want to optimize their presence on the internet. Stephan's title is Your SEO is Broken. Let me prove it to you. Please help me welcome Stephan Spencer.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Your SEO is broken, and I'm going to prove it to you. And you might be thinking, SEO, oh boy, I don't want to learn SEO. That's not my unique ability. Well, you can take a deep breath, right? Like we just learned, because this is on a need-to-know basis. Yeah, I have a book that you're welcome to take home with you. I brought enough for everybody. It's 1,000 pages. If you do want to read it, please be my guest. I would start actually with chapter 7, which is on content marketing. It's not overly technical and it's a lot of fun, but you don't have to learn it, okay? Stay in your zone of genius, your unique ability, and just hire out that expertise. Now, if you completely neglect SEO, you're leaving serious money on the table, money that your competitors are going to scoop up. So I would recommend that you focus your business on getting to the top of Google, and just, as I said, you focus where you need to focus, and you need the essential tools that will help you to do that job, to get to the diagnosis of what is ailing your site from an SEO perspective. These tools include Google Search Console, Screaming Frog, Deep Crawl, which is another spidering tool, Majestic, Moz, Ahrefs, and SEMrush, which are all excellent SEO tools and tool sets. SimilarWeb, which is kind of like hacking your competitor's Google Analytics, and Link Research Tools, which is my favorite link analysis tool set. All these are great tools. And if you don't have a skilled SEO operator operating these tools, they're completely worthless to you. So don't spend the money if you don't have an amazing in-house SEO person. Instead, I want you to be an excellent person, an excellent expert at hiring the right SEO. And as somebody who knows a fair bit about SEO, I took the liberty of looking at some of your websites, and I found some free money, actually, about $250,000 worth each. I didn't go through every single one of your websites, but I did go through a handful of you. And Tim, for example, Camelback Recovery, you have a toxic link problem, which is free money because we're going to fix it. This is a tool called Link Detox, comes from Link Research Tools, and you're well into the red zone. It should be under 1,000, and it's 2,240. Yikes. So there are a lot of sites. In fact, over half of the sites that are linking to you are toxic, meaning that they have malware or viruses that have infected them. and they're linking to you, or they're spam sites, or they have, they're in a bad link neighborhood. So we want to fix that. But you're not the only site that has that problem. Here's Do Wealth, Jim Do, 1,142. Not as bad as Tim, but it's definitely bad enough that you need to deal with it, meaning a link cleanup initiative. And then there is Capital Logics. Capital Logics, I'm going to be speaking quite a lot about you in this talk. We're just getting started. I'm getting warmed up.
Where do you go to find Brittany News?
Yeah, well, we're gonna find lots of interesting things, starting with the link profile of 2,800 in the toxic zone. So that's pretty not so good. Now we're going to move on to on-page elements. So we were looking at the link profile. This is stuff that is on the page itself. Your title tags are the most fundamental, basic aspect of SEO. It's the first thing that people will see when they click on a search listing, right, is that big title. It's also the most important thing that people, or that the search engines are looking at too. It gives the keyword focus for the page, and most of these, as you can see, are very keyword light, let's say. Okay, and yeah, just 1 or 2 words each. But you're not the only one with that issue. We have gender intelligence. Barbara, you've got title tags that include things like client list and associates. I don't know when the last time any of you searched for the word associates in Google, but I'm probably guessing it was never. So that's not so hot. And then Jim Do. We got Jim again with Do Wealth. And same sort of problem about our process, our team, not very keyword rich. Seeking Health. Ben, we've got same problem with you, full script, Seeking Health, supplier Seeking Health, etc. Now, we also, back to Capital Logics, have tag pages that are in full force in Google, and Google doesn't really like these because they're thin content and they're duplicate content. They're made up of a lot of the same content that's elsewhere on your website, and you have quite a lot of them. Many pages of them, and this is exacerbated by the fact you have pagination pages, meaning that you don't just have a tag page for, let's say, gadgets, and you do. No, you have about 50 of them, because there's page 2, page 6, page 50, etc. We'll have to talk, yeah. And then I went into SEMrush and had a look at what are the primary keywords driving traffic. I don't know if you wrote about this, but Tom Brady shirtless, you are winning. And then we have Harry Potter Star Wars. I don't even know that there's a Harry Potter Star Wars, but you are winning for that one. Yeah. And we have duplicate content here. We've got lack of canonical tags. No time to explain what that is, but it's a problem. We also have, back to Jim Do. I'll take the heat off of you for a minute. Jim, thin content. I don't know how long it might take to read this, but I'm certainly not going to curl up next to the fireplace with my iPad to read the DWM footer logo page because it's empty, but we got to get that cleaned up. And then we also, Jim, have a problem with your mobile page speed. In fact, your page speed for desktop as well, but specifically with mobile here, I'm looking at a tool free from Google called Lighthouse, and you're 26 out of 100. You're well into the red zone. And this not only affects your Google rankings negatively, it also really drastically impacts your conversion rate. So when people are on your site and it's slow loading, they just bounce. All right, so now we have the coup de grace. Andre Norman, who's downstairs. Oh, Andre, welcome. You're in for some free money. See, you have, let's go back. You have this little problem here. It's called a disallow that tells Google and all the search engines, I don't want you to look at any of my stuff. I don't want you in here, get out. And this is what ends up happening. these little error messages on all of your pages. No information is available for this page. Learn why. That's not a great first experience. So, now what? I think I don't have a bodyguard, but I'm going to be Googling afterwards. So now what do we do? Because I probably raised all of your cortisol levels. Well, there is a solution, thankfully, and that is that we're going to hire an SEO expert, or at least a practitioner, to do an SEO audit. We're going to do just basically a diagnostic. You go to the doctor, you should be going to your SEO practitioner to get an audit. So I have a handout. It's a 7-step process to hiring an SEO. I'm also going to be around for the rest of the day, and I'm also going to make myself available for the next few weeks to do a 15-minute diagnostic screen share with you, and I'll record it and I'll send you the recording for free for anybody in the room and downstairs who wants it. So I suggest you take me up on that. That's pretty valuable. And by all means, take some books, because I'm not taking them home. And I have, if you are worried about going overweight with your luggage, I have a bunch of these as well. This is Google Power Search. It's not an SEO book. It's a book about how to find anything in Google, confidential business plans, Forrester research reports that normally cost thousands of dollars. All of that is available at your fingertips. Thank you very much.
Yeah. You want to hear from Joel?